UpFront on the Voice of America. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. Thank you to all our listeners and viewers wherever you are around the world. Today in the studio here, right here, Studio 4. I'm so happy to introduce and to welcome social activist, artist, the first African to headline at the Dolby Theatre in Hollywood, Brian B. Flo Bwembia.
Definitely.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. I love to say it as B-Flow.
We're still working on the J flow. Obviously not as good as the B flow. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. Like you've said, my name is Brian Bwembia, also known as B-Flow, and I'm a social activist. I'm known for using music to advocate against things like violence against women, HIV/AIDS, child marriages, and many other social problems, and that's been my focus. So I'm founder of an initiative called Music for Change, which is a very beautiful project in Zambia that we're trying to use to change the mindset of the people, as well as change the direction that the Zambian music industry or the African music industry has taken to try and, add some positivity to what we're doing and just ensure that musicians and other celebrities realize that they have so much power and so much influence that they can actually put to good use by influencing people to do the right things as opposed to what has been the case in the past. So basically that's what I do. I come from a very humble background. I was raised by a single woman, so I love women and the efforts that they put in raising men. And so I find myself doing a lot of women-related work or women empowerment-related work.
Right. And that's kind of the online thing in most of your music.
My music.
We were talking earlier about the two videos that we'll be playing later on the show here. Yes. One of them is called Dear Mama, and the other one is Voiceless.
Woman.
Your project, Music for Change, you started it a couple of, 2 years ago now?
Yes.
What has been some of the change you've seen in your community?
I think initially when I started to do the Music for Change was like a movement before it became registered. So people listened to me as a dancehall artist or as a hip-hop artist, and they loved it. They loved the music.
So you were first an artist before you created this project?
Yes, I was just an artist, and I was doing dancehall and hip-hop music, and I became very, very famous and very influential. And then I realized that this influence that I have and this fame that I have can actually be either negative.
Used for good things.
Can be used either negatively or positively. If we're doing negative things with our music and everything that we're doing, then we're likely to mislead people. But if I decide to do something positive, I believe that I'm going to influence people positively.
So you understood the power of your music, of your influence, and you decided to... How did your music change?
Yes, I realized that a good artist doesn't make music that people want, but music that people need. Sometimes people may already want a certain type of music. Maybe it objectifies women, or maybe it promotes violence and all these things,
And so you decided to create music that celebrates women.
Yes.
Instead of objectifying women. And the first song that we're going to play is Dear Mama. Tell me about this video.
So Dear Mama is a song that was inspired by the fact that I'm the first and only African artist that was endorsed and awarded by the former U.S. President Barack Obama, and the first African artist to be endorsed by a sitting U.S. president.
Let's just mention, matter of fact, that your name is, your nickname in Zambia is Junior Obama.
Junior Obama.
Obviously had a big influence in your life.
Yes.
And people recognize that.
Definitely. So I was a Yali Fellow for 2015, and that's where it all happened during a town hall meeting that he was making a speech. And he spoke about my work and he spoke about B-Flow and the work that I do in Zambia. It was a great opportunity for me. And from there, everything just changed. Like the respect that I got from people just grew to another level.
Right.
And
so
that was
obviously
amazing.
Anybody getting a shout out from the president of the U.S.
Yes, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. So during that time, I felt very, very emotional. And I wished that my mom was around at that particular time to see and celebrate with me. But then she had just died 6 months before that.
So sorry to hear that.
So it was a very, very emotional moment for me. And that's what inspired the song Dear Mama. So on the song I'm saying, Dear Mama, I'm chilling with Obama and I wish you were here with me. So it's a song that anybody out there can relate with, whether you still have your mother, she's alive, or if she's gone, can even be your father. It makes people who already have their parents, who still have their parents, to realize that you need to appreciate them now that they are still alive, and give them the roses while they can still smell them.
Right.
And it also challenges, it also comforts people who have lost their parents, that we, even if our parents are not here, but we still have to help to live their dreams by me.
So that you're able to continue the great work that you're already doing, but take it to the next level.
Music.
That's what Brian Wembia of Zambia plans to do. Where's Brian? Where is he?
Thank you.
Dear mama, I'm chilling with Obama, and he's telling me he's proud of me. Oh mama, I'm dining with kings and queens, and I wish you were here with me. Mama, you the genesis of my story. Why should you be absent in victory? Mama, you the genesis of my story, but why should you be absent in victory?
So Brian uses music to advocate against things like gender-based violence and to educate youth on HIV/AIDS.
Mama, remember all the struggles back in Kabwe, but you told me blessings will come my way. I promised you me I go work and pray. Now Jaja bless me day by day. Me counting me blessings, but me can't see mama. And me want to share the blessings with me sweet mama. When me making new friends like Barack Obama and Ambassador Eric Schultz, thanks to my Redeemer. We blazing fire, we going higher. We fresh a desire, we now retire. We used to admire, now we inspire. I wish my mama could see. Dear mama, I'm chilling with Obama.
Out of Dear Mama. That was Dear Mama, the song Dear Mama by Brian Biflo from Zambia here in Studio 4. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. Tell us about the power of music in Zambia. Let's start off by getting to understand what kind of music do people listen to in Zambia, first of all.
Okay, so right now
Young people.
Yes, there's been a debate as to whether we still have authentic Zambian music or whether Zambian music is just influenced by global trends. So like like the case is in Africa right now, it's all about Afro pop. And that's what people are doing. It's that beat, that danceable beat, and something that everybody can dance to. So my description of Zambian music is that it's a fusion of different genres of music from all across the world. So it's there's a lot of R&B, there's hip hop, and there's dancehall. Those are the dominant ones currently. And then the original Zambian music that we used to have is called Kalindula music. Kalindula, very traditional, almost similar to rumba, but it had its own original Zambian sounds. Yeah.
Do you fuse some of the elements of Kalindula into your music?
Yes. I actually coined something I call Kali dancehall, which is like a combination of Kalindula and dancehall.
Right.
Dancehall from the Caribbean, but obviously you know that everything that is done in the Caribbean was influenced
originated
by
from the
Africa.
continent. Yes.
So
that's your Afrobeat, I guess.
Exactly.
It is, it is the Zambian Afrobeat.
Yes.
Or bongo flava.
Yes. So if I say dancehall, I usually say Zam dancehall. Yeah.
So you're starting that movement. That name.
He was a huge.
Let's talk about your recent tour with Common and Queen Latifah on the continent. How was that? How did you get to tour with two big superstars of that magnitude? And where did you go? Where did you tour?
Oh yeah, so we toured parts of Southern Africa. Then we also toured parts of the United States, New York and Los Angeles. Yeah. So how did that come up? Like I mentioned to you before the interview started, that I'm a Goodwill ambassador for about 10 global organizations, including the biggest HIV/AIDS advocacy organization in the world, and that's AIDS Healthcare Foundation. So with AIDS Healthcare Foundation, we do a number of projects, including the 20 by 20 campaign, where we're talking about reaching out to 20 million people by the year 2020 and making sure that people get tested, and those that are infected or have HIV positive actually have access to treatment. So another campaign that we've been doing is called Keep the Promise.
Keep the Promise. And
Keep the Promise is a reminder to world leaders to keep their promise to fund HIV/AIDS prevention, as they did in the beginning when it was discovered that there was this scourge in the world. All leaders promised that they wanted to play a part in preventing it, but lately funding has actually reduced in the field of HIV. So that's what the campaign is about. So we're going to different countries.
Have you seen any progress in Zambia in terms of people understanding the threat of HIV/AIDS?
Oh yes. I do see that every day, and I can attest to the fact that the government is actually committed to ensure that people have treatment, and local organizations and international organizations that help Zambia are also doing their very best, and we can only pray that funding increases.
Now you partnered here in the U.S. with an organization, Africa Education Program.
Yes.
We have one of the leaders, the co-founders or the founders of the project.
Yes, Julianne.
Julianne, you want to come through the camera a little bit so people can see who you are? Keep
Yes,
rolling,
yes,
guys. Keep rolling.
Yes.
Julianne. I just wanted people to see who Julianne is. Yeah. You can go. Thank you, Julianne. What are some of the issues that some of the overlapping issues between, say, a young person in Zambia and an American high school student?
Well, access to quality education and also sponsorship. Yeah, I know that as compared to the situation here in the U.S., in my country, a lot of young people lack sponsorship to be able to go to good schools and get that good education. And especially after high school, going to college is really, really hard. It's not easy for.
It's not affordable.
Yeah, it's not affordable. It's pretty expensive. So, and
does government help subsidize some of the students?
Well, at high school level, it's pretty expensive. At primary level, it's quite manageable.
Because do you have universal primary education?
Yeah.
Okay. But so going to high school, access to education, the costs are really high. They're not able to afford.
Yes, and universities even worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how the partnership comes between the African Education Program, which is a U.S. founded organization, and ourselves, Music for Change, where we're working together to tell the world about the African Education Program and the help that they are offering to underprivileged or less privileged children and youth in my country, in Zambia and other parts of Africa. They've been amazing in finding sponsorship for orphans and vulnerable children, and that just touches my heart, and that's why I'm so excited to be part of the tour that we're doing of the U.S. And this tour is about celebrating 10 years of their positive impact in Africa, of the African Education Program's impact in my country and other countries, including Tanzania, where they're doing amazing work. So we're touring.
Well, what are some of the specific things that they do in Zambia? They give out textbooks, they give sponsorship and funding to students?
Exactly. So they also find sponsors for specific children, even youth who can go up to university, and they have great testimonies and great stories of people that have actually graduated and are now working and running very big companies and heading very big companies. So that's really, really encouraging. So I'm passionate about education myself because I didn't have it easy. It was very, very difficult.
You were obviously raised by a single mother.
Woman, right. Yes. So it was hard to get that education. So coming from that background where I was in and out of class, I did not have uniforms sometimes. I am really passionate to make sure that I see other people not go through what I went through, and that's why I'm so excited with what the African Education Program is doing.
And your story is a story of countless, thousands, millions of young Africans around the continent.
Exactly.
And it's amazing that you decided to take on that as a platform, understanding how important education is. There's obviously all these kinds of debates of whether young people on the continent are receiving the right kind of education.
I get your point. Well, they're not getting African education. They're getting international education, Western education. Yeah, that's what they're getting.
But do you feel there's a problem though? There's a need to reform the type of education.
Definitely. My personal opinion is that it's very, very important to make people learn something that is within their
that will help them
environment, something that will be applicable to what they're doing, because
their context.
We don't want to struggle after you graduate, but you can't apply the things that you know, or you try to apply them, but they're not working. So I think an African problem also needs an African solution. So we need that.
Which is, given their solution is an African education, African-centric oriented education.
Yes.
Let's play your second video, Voiceless Woman. what is it about this video that speaks to the experiences of African women in general?
It's something very similar to some of the themes that the African Education Program focuses on, which is against child marriages and against child sexual abuse. So there's a part on the song where I talk about an uncle who's given the responsibility to raise a child actually starts to abuse her sexually. And there's also the aspect of physical abuse on this song, Voiceless Woman. And on this song, I'm just trying to be a mouthpiece and to amplify the voices of women as they cry for opportunities to become part of the decision-making processes, to become part of the leadership of companies and nations. Yeah, so Voiceless Woman is like me saying she's been a voiceless woman, but it's time that we gave her a voice.
A bright future. She worked so hard, she was like a real soldier. But you see, this life can be so hard sometimes. Her mother and father died in just one night. I still remember that bad incident when them died in that accident. A little girl busy looking at the time, waiting for mommy and daddy to return. When the young girl picked up the phone, she was told that the parents were gone. Could not believe that she was left alone, to be kept by the uncle. Manjeva uncle onani bevatita, batenga mwana shuwa kumukatakata. Vamuvula no muonongela future, adwala matenda vamutwaliza. Voiceless woman, uyu mukazi yavutika. She's a voiceless woman, uyu mukazi yavutika. Pretty, pretty woman, don't you cry. Never, never worry, it's alright. Pretty, pretty woman, don't cry. Wilalila, I'll be your voice.
Welcome back. This is UpFront on the Voice of America. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. As we come to the end of our conversation today with Brian B-Flow, a Zambian artist. We just watched his video, by the way, Voiceless Woman. Just beautiful video.
Thanks, man.
Tell me some of the challenges as we wind down. Some of the challenges a musician faces in Zambia.
Oh, plenty, plenty. One of them is sponsorship. Finding a record deal or a record label that can produce your album and also help you to duplicate your copies and sell them. Finding the right people that will be able to connect you to platforms that will be able to spread your music internationally, like iTunes, and you still make money from there. Another challenge is piracy. It's big, and people still use CDs in my country, but then the pirated CDs.
They don't buy the CDs. They duplicate them from.
And people buy pirated copies because they are cheaper on the streets.
Are there any laws or regulations that your parliament is working on to
the laws are
mitigate?
Actually there. The laws are actually there. We do have intellectual property units of the police service. Unfortunately, I feel that sometimes the enforcement is not there, but the laws are definitely there. So those are some of the challenges that artists face, and many others.
Do some of the programs you have with these young people in Zambia involve them actually participating in some sort of music program?
Yes, and we recently just conducted a workshop called Camp Lusaka, where we were calling musicians from all around the country to come together in one place and try to give them some education around professionalism and knowing some of the steps that they can take when they want to become professional musicians. And most of them, the ones that we targeted, were the upcoming artists, the ones that are just starting out, so that we can give them an idea of how they can be professional, even those that want to become managers, booking agents, and all these things. And my focus, as usual, is positivity in terms of the message that they put in their music. So as Music for Change, that's what we try to do all the time.
Not necessarily just work in the industry, but also the messaging that is quite important.
I feel like that's the only way a musician can justify that they contribute to the developmental process of the nation, if they do something that is very developmental and life-changing.
Brian B-Flow right here up front on the Voice of America in Studio 4. We thank you very much for coming through, man.
Thank you very much,
Great
Jackson.
job. And, we wish you the very best in whatever endeavors you're undertaking right now.
Really appreciate
Really
the
proud of
platform.
the work that you're doing on the continent with young people.
Thank you for having me, and thanks to the Voice of America. Big up.